Hang on, now it seems to be cooperating. Whereabouts are you located, Randall?
Indiana, Northeast.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
I bet you've been around though. You've been all over the place, haven't you?
Yes, I have.
I kind of got that vibe from you. You got like a rambling man vibe.
Well, I'm a retired professional musician, so yeah, I've been all over the country.
Ah, that makes sense. Now I get it. If you click comments at the top right, you'll be able to see what people are saying.
I don't see a comment on the
top right corner. Then you just click comments, and then you'll see the people's messages popping up. Hi, Lynn. Hi, Stephanie.
Gotcha.
Good morning, everyone. Hi, Chantal. Hello.
Hi, Chantal.
We get people from all over the world here on this podcast.
Good.
Yeah. So we'll just give it a few minutes before I explain to everybody how we met, because it's very, what's funny is that you changed my life with our conversation, and now I'm changing all these guys' lives by our.
Awesome. Yeah. Hey, it just takes a pebble,
No kidding. It really does. So for those of you who don't know, Randall and I, we've known each other about almost 2 years now. And there were some videos that I found about entity attachments and about earthbounds and stuff. And it kind of left me confused and feeling a bit beside myself, not knowing what the hell, because there's just so much that I learned from hypnosis that I thought I knew almost everything in regards to the afterlife and all that. I mean, you study Dolores Cannon's work for 11 years, reading all of her books and studying hypnosis. I'm like, oh, I understand the afterlife. Like, I got this. Like, this is easy, And then I met Randall. And Randall helped me understand that there was a lot more that I was missing, because, there's a lot that happens kind of that most people don't really know about in regards to earthbounds and entities and all kinds of stuff. So I stumbled upon Randall's interview with Jeff Mara, which I shared yesterday on my page in case a couple of you guys wanted to have a quick little look into that. And that interview changed everything. In fact, it almost threw me into almost like this existential crisis of confusion. Going, oh my God, there's so much more. Holy shit, what do I do? So I reached out to Randall, and we had the most wonderful conversation. He helped me kind of get my bearings, and he answered a lot of my tedious questions, and he kind of set me up to find more people like, Dr. Edith Fiore, and Dr. William Baldwin, and Dr. Terrence Palmer. And my life has not been the same since, as many of you guys are already aware. So I just wanted to invite, I've been really, really excited to bring Randall on here just to kind of give you guys a little understanding as to how somebody could trip and fall into this work and have it kind of become a big portion of your life. And that started early for you, didn't it? Very young age.
Yes, it did. Very young age.
Do you mind just telling
me a little 6.
What happened? Yeah.
Sure. I'll tell you a little story here. Yeah, I was 6. I went with my dad. He was going to work on our vehicle with some friends of his, so I went along with him. I was only 6 years old, so I went along with him, and we went to this garage. And they're working on the car in this garage. The car was running, and they're standing at the walk-in door so they can get some air. I was in the back of the garage playing. I didn't really have any idea what was going on as far as, the carbon monoxide or anything like that. So I remember just kind of doing whatever behind this car. And the next thing I know, I get dizzy and I'm out. I'm out completely. They didn't know I was in the garage until my head busted open on the bumper of the car. And at that point, I went to the light. I saw some beings, and they took me around, showed me the different places. And we wound up in this one room that was shaped like an octagon. It's kind of weird. So we go in there, and there's a big, huge well like you get water out of. And it's right in the middle of this big room. So these beings are on either side of me, left and right. So they urged me to walk up to this well. And when I did, there's confetti inside of this well, just kind of churning. So, and I was urged to put my hands in there. And when I did, I got this real tingling, light electrical sensation going through me. So I'm doing this and going, in this confetti, and I feel charged and just absolutely incredible. So I pull my hands back, and when I do this, I get the sense that one of them was saying to me, "You can go in any direction you want." And by them saying that, I had 4 tunnels appear: one front, back, and left and right. So I scanned, and when I scanned back to the left, I woke up on the couch in this house. These people's where I was at, and they took the oxygen off of me and this and that. And they said, "You were gone, you were gone, you were gone. Oh my God, oh my God." So, and then I came back, and here we are. And ever since then, it's been an absolute whirlwind. I'm in my early 60s. So at 6 years old, I grew up in a Southern Baptist family, and every time you turn around, you're going to hell. You're going to hell. You're going to hell. So I stopped telling my story. I started seeing spirit immediately. I mean, immediately. When we got home from the hospital with me, I saw a person walk right in front of me from room to room. And, I'm telling my folks this, and I see people all the time, and I'm telling my folks this, and they're going, "Randall, stop lying. You don't see anything." Well, you're going to go to hell, son, if you keep saying this stuff.
Oh no.
Come on, man. Oh, I know, right? So I keep going on and keep going on, and it got to the point where I just didn't say anything to anybody anymore. You get tired of being called a liar. When I see it and I know it's there, and I know these people are there, so I just stopped saying anything. Well, when these sort of things happen to you, especially near-death experience, you're rewired, you're changed. Nothing for me. I don't remember before the age of 6, and a lot of people don't, but I don't really remember anything before the age of 6, but I remember everything after the age of 6 because of so much mystical, paranormal, am I going crazy crap keeps happening to me. And I mean all the time. So, and then I started studying other things. I didn't realize I had a near-death experience until my early 20s when I discovered the medical records. And I got to be able to talk to one of the people who were there. They have since passed. My parents are gone. Can't talk to them about that. So after I discovered that paperwork and things like that, and then I dove headfirst into near-death experiences and psychic phenomenon and things of that sort because nothing else resonated with me. And I was not only the black sheep, I wasn't even a sheep. You know what I mean? I didn't go along with everybody else. I didn't fit in. I mean, I was like a square piece trying to fit into a round hole. So I didn't fit in. So again, I just dove into psychic phenomenon, things of that sort. And then I discovered shamanism. So I belong to the Foundation for Shamanic Studies. And I've been there, almost 40 years. But I started taking classes on just learning how to be a shamanic practitioner because I'm able to transcend this level and the next level of consciousness rather easily and do things that are out of the normal. Let's put it that way. So by diving into shamanism, I discovered a couple classes. One was called sure it is psychic removal, curse unraveling. So I dove into that, and I took 3 years of very intensive training, learning how to do psychopomp work and how to do it right. Let's put it that way. Because when I was a kid, I would have spirits come up to me and talk. I didn't know what to do other than talk back, and they were asking for help. I really didn't know quite really how to do that properly. Let's put it that way, properly, because there's a way to be able to do it and a way you really shouldn't do it. So I dove into that. It was curse unraveling. So I'm able to trace the lineage of a person, of their spirit, and go back to where curses were put onto somebody and things of that sort, and able to remove those curses. And then in the process of doing that, learn how to help people cross over properly. Everything from aliens, extraterrestrial to whomever. I mean, I get it all, and I know you do too, Laura. It's unbelievable. Once once they know that you can do this type of work, they come to you all the time. It's not uncommon to walk into a place and have 200, 300, 400 spirits just pop up. I mean, it really isn't. 5 or 10.
Whenever I go to a bar, I'm like, all right, keep your hands to yourself, please.
I don't. I mean, that's some of the big reasons why I got out of playing music is, we did a lot of the bar scenes, the nightclubs and things like that. You can get attachments. I mean, all it takes is one beer or one alcoholic beverage, and it lowers your aura to the point to where you're susceptible to getting attachments. It doesn't take anything. And your mood swings, man, you can get you to have an attachment. So I learned how to do all of this stuff at an early age, and then I started practicing it. And then I mean, emotionally, when you help a person cross over that has been stuck in this dimension for 100 years, 200 years, 1,000 years, I mean, there's nothing any more rewarding than, the birth of my daughter is rewarding, absolutely the best in my life. You know what I mean? But when you help somebody cross over who's been trapped here or stuck here, regardless of what the thing is, cross over, there's nothing that feels any better than that. Just knowing this person now can evolve into the next dimension of their life, of whatever they want to be. So yeah, I mean,
what's interesting? Just last night, we have fun little experiments on occasion. It's funny you say this because we were checking in on somebody. We said, well, let's check somebody that's been dead for a very long time to see if they've crossed. But let's also see if them being famous means it's more likely for them to have been crossed, because another medium perhaps might have come along and checked and helped them cross over. So let's see if that makes a difference. So last night we checked on this person and they were not crossed over. You'll never guess who it was. Marie Antoinette.
Oh, really?
Yes, we crossed over Marie Antoinette last night. She was wandering around underground. She didn't even have her head. So she was kind of wandering around just aimlessly in this dark space underground. And when we tuned into her, she was kind of like out of it, that how sometimes they're kind of like in a trance or they're just kind of delirious. She was like that. And we reattached her head for her, and she started touching her face and getting all emotional. She was crying. And we asked some questions like, was she supposed to die this way? No, she was not. I asked about her spirit, and they said, well, she's actually an ascended elemental. And I was like, that's fascinating. I didn't even think about the fact that elementals can ascend kind of like angelics. And they said, yeah, she was one of those. She actually came in to do good things for her people, and things kind of, got misconstrued, and then entities got involved. And then they said she was riddled with entities when she died. And the whole crowd, whole mob attacked her. That was all entities.
Yeah, well, I have noticed too, regardless of who you are, that celebrity crap doesn't matter anyways. Yeah. Once you die and you have an entity on you, then it really invites others to come to you. Now you're discombobulated. And because of that, now more and more entities come onto you. Can I tell a quick story here? Do you mind?
Please. I love your stories, Randall. Yes.
I don't know if you've heard this one or not, but I do Reiki. I tell people I'm a Reiki master. Okay. I got certified and all that good stuff, but it's a guise to get people in, so when I ask you if I can work on you and you say, yeah, then okay, cool. It's all good. So I was working on this lady who had taken a vacation. She went east. So she called me, and I've been working with this lady for, I don't know, a couple, 3 years before she took a vacation, her and her husband. So she says, Randall, I feel absolutely horrible, just unbelievably horrible. I mean, I've got to see you. I don't know what's going on. I got to see you. So she come to see me. She made arrangements to come to see me. It was about 3 or 4 weeks later after the conversation. And I start off with my hands on the head, and I work down the body, you know, to remove and heal and whatever needs to take place. So I'm on her head, and all of a sudden I get this picture of a guy. And this guy, he has a wheelbarrow, Laura. He has a wheelbarrow, and this wheelbarrow is full of bodies. And he's taking these bodies and he's pushing them along this little corridor, dumping them in a big pit. Come back, load up, and dump them in this pit. Come back, load up, roll them, and dump it in this pit. It's like, oh my God, am I really seeing this in my head? And you know, I back off and let go. I put my protection around me again. If you guys are doing this type of work, you need to use psychic protection. If you're not using psychic protection, you're not very smart. Anyways, so I back up, I put my protection around me again, you know, making sure I'm cool because I have never seen this. So I go back in and I touch her head again, and I see him. He sees me. It's like, cool. I've got contact. We've got connection now. We can chat. So I ask him, what's going on? He goes, it's my job. It's my job. I'm stuck. It's my job. So he's wheeling these and dumping, wheeling and dumping. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So I call on everybody. I mean, I've already called on everybody before I ever touched this lady. You know, masters, healers, teachers, spirits, guides, everybody. I've called everybody in. My gang. So they go, all right, let's get him to cross over. So I got my hands on her, and I see him. The lights appeared, and there he goes. And he goes. Boom, he comes back. It's like, oh, crap. So I'm again concentrating on him. He goes. He pops back in. It's like, oh, what the hell? What the hell? So I back up again and I go, okay, what am I missing? What am I missing? They said, you need to cross over the people in the wheelbarrow first. They're his attachments. So when I started doing that, there were thousands and thousands and thousands of people. It's just like, the lights just going. It's like, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God, oh my God. So when I backed up again, I had to catch my breath because at that point, I'm really emotional. You see this many people crossing over. It's like, oh my God, what is this? And what is going on? So I go back again, and this took probably about 2 hours to do. So I go back and I reattach my connection to her, and he finally crosses over. Okay. And it took a minute to get that to happen. So I'm working on her, and I get all the way down to her feet, and I close that door and everything else, and it's all good. And, you know, and I set her up, and she's really dizzy because there were thousands of attachments there. So she was dizzy. I got her some water and gave her a piece of candy to raise her sugar level a little bit, you know, and we're talking. And she goes, Randall, we left Germany, and we went to the Holocaust. We went to where they were doing the Holocaust thing right there. And it's like, oh, really? Oh my God. Seriously? And she goes, yep. And she goes, we stopped at a Holocaust museum in New York before we came to see you. It's like, oh my God, seriously? I got coaches like no tomorrow, man. And I go, oh my God, seriously? Unbelievable. So that was a great validation because I wanted to say something to her about possibly being in Germany, Auschwitz, whatever you call that place. So, yeah. And she goes, yep, we were there. And it's like, oh my God, are you serious? She goes, yep. I said, okay, there you go. You're good. She goes, man, I feel incredible. I said, you should. Oh my God. But yeah, that was
wow.
Yeah. That was unbelievable. And I really had to do a mental check on that a few times just to make sure that I wasn't making this stuff. But you can't make this stuff up. You just can't make it up. I mean, I've got a great imagination. I'm an artist. I got a great imagination, but it ain't that good. So in regards to that, you know, when you step into the world, you have to be prepared to take on about anything, you know, literally anything.
People have been asking me to all clear outfits. And I don't think I'm there yet. I don't think I'm ready for that. No,
I didn't think I was ready. I didn't think I was ready for it either. But the big lesson I learned from this, Laura, is it's a thing called layering. I don't know if you've heard of it or not,
Oh
it's
yeah, we're
an
dealing with
attachment.
that.
Okay, an attachment has an attachment. Now you got layering issues. So you got to remove the first attachment in order to get the second attachment to go away. I've seen
It's
them as
like
far
pickup
as
stick, you know. It's like yeah,
oh
that's what we've been
man.
calling it. It's like spiritual pickup sticks. Yeah.
Yeah, and I've seen them as far as 3 deep and 4 deep is unfreaking believable. Yeah, Ashwatch is in Poland. It was Germany where she was at. I don't remember the place where she was at in Germany particularly, but it was irrelevant. Honestly, it was irrelevant because of the fact there were so many spirits there that wanted to go home. They didn't want to be there, and they were his attachment. So I had to remove the attachments off of him in order to get him to go. So I mean, that to me in itself was remarkable. It was just remarkable.
Well, that's similar to what we
Remarkable.
found in we went to the battlefield of Culloden the other day to help clear Culloden because I had a loved one I could sense that was stuck there. So I wanted to go and see what we could do. So as a team, we kind of moved in and we had a very large spirit team. You know, we have a lot of galactics that also work with us and things. So we cleared as much of that space we could, but then it was in layers. Like there wasn't just the battle there, but there were other experiences there, other battles, other things that had happened, even going back to Roman times that weren't even recorded.
Oh yeah.
So all these multiple
Well,
tragedies.
once a trauma energy has engulfed the land has to be blessed in order for that chain of events to stop happening. Once you bless the land, once you get everybody to cross over first, then bless the land, then those types of atrocities will usually stop. Usually. Yeah. Knock on some
So
wood
it'll
here.
start with something like
yeah,
a blood feud, you know, between clans or something, or it'll end up being some kind of a, you know, a tragedy that occurs on the land. And then the low vibration ends up causing more things to happen, which end up layering more trauma, more tragedy. And so when we were clearing Culloden, I was not expecting, we were finding Celts in their blue face paint. We were finding druids. Like, and here I was expecting to find Highlanders. And they were like, no. There were over 3,000 years worth of people that had been stuck there. And I was like,
oh yeah. And taking this class too, I had to go to Santa Fe, New Mexico to take these classes. I used to go twice a year for 13, 14 years. Anyways, in one of these classes, I had some aliens pop in, some grays pop in. And of course, you know, what the? And you say something to the instructor. She goes, well, cross them over. Okay, I guess I just crossed him over. So, you know, once I got to chatting with them, they were able to actually, their clan came in and they left. I mean, it was just, they just needed a little help. And, you know, fear is one of the main reasons, well, religion and fear
I was going to say
some of the main reasons why people don't cross over.
Yep.
Yes, they do, because they create they create the fear. You know, I don't, like my family told me, you're going to hell. You know, I don't believe in hell, albeit I was married, but I don't believe in hell, you know. So, and it's no disrespect to the women, but still, you know what I mean?
I'm twice
but
divorced,
yeah,
believe I feel you, Randall.
It's just amazing.
Yes. 3 times for you. See, third time is a charm, as they say.
That's right. Third time's a charm. I'm not doing it. Nah. I would rather be alone.
Well, the thing is, good luck explaining this to people. Most of the time, people think you're completely nuts when you're talking about this work. There's a lot of people that don't really understand that you don't. This work doesn't stop at the end of the time. You know what I mean? At the end of the day, it's always you're living the work.
Absolutely. So how much of this do you do in your dream state?
Well, you know what's funny is I will tell my guides I'm taking the night off. I'm not working tonight, and that's when I'll have dreams of where I'm chasing beasties through somewhere with. Oh God! So no, I do this work in my sleep as well. Yeah, I'm sure I do.
Yep. Once you do it, once you start it, I mean, it's just there's no stop. There's no stop. We do it all the time. You know, I'll be driving down the street and somebody popping in my vehicle in the seat next to me. It's like, oh, what do you need? Okay, I'll have to pull over and summon everybody. And Have them come in for them, and they'll leave. They'll leave. But I
They
love this
pop up.
work. I absolutely love this. Oh yeah, they
Yeah.
do. They do. And it's not the hospitals and it's not the graveyards where most of the people come from. It really isn't. It's down the street and at the park that used to be a graveyard that they turn into a park, when they desecrate the land and things like that. Now the spirits get really active. Haunted houses. I have a lot of friends who are paranormal investigators, and we talk. And I'm getting ready to do a keynote for one here in the fall. We talk a lot about respect and disrespecting spirits. People wonder why they get hurt and this and that when they do, when they go to certain places or do hauntings and this and that. I'm going to tell you another quick story. I was dating this girl for just a little bit, and they asked me to take out the garbage. So I had a beer in one hand, I had the garbage sack in the other hand, and I had to walk down 20 steps to get to the lower level to where the garbage picks up. So I stuck my foot out and somebody pushed me, and they pushed me in the back, and I missed every step, and I hit the very bottom one. And when I hit the bottom one, I broke my iliac spine. It's the curvature that goes around your hip. I broke
Yeah.
that. And it took me about 6 months to walk right again. It was freaking horrible. Well, anyways, as I'm laying on the bottom of the steps, agonizing pain, I look back and there's a gentleman standing at the top of the steps, and he goes, come to find out, this gentleman that pushed me down the steps was molesting the girl that I was dating, but he had died 25 years earlier and was still there on the property. So he didn't
No
want me
way.
messing with his stuff. You know what I mean? So after we chatted a little bit, he went to the light. But man, and I still have issues because of that. I lay a certain way on the couch or something. Ooh, I can't hardly move and this and that. But yeah, just you got to be careful. You have to be careful dealing with spirits and things of that sort, because they can hurt you, and they will hurt you if they need to. I mean,
I
yeah.
had a poltergeist come into my house when I was 15. It's a long story, but there was an old lady I saw in my house, and I tried to talk to the old lady, and it was not the old lady I connected to with the Ouija board. I brought something else in. I watched it shove my dog down the stairs. I literally,
Oh,
I had a puppy, a boxer puppy, standing at the top of the stairs, and she was looking right at me, and I watched something push her from the side, and she went down the stairs sideways. And I was beside myself. I scooped her up in my arms. I went outside and I just sobbed
oh
uncontrollably in the
yeah.
driveway. I was too scared to
Oh
go in my
yeah.
house. But yeah, that was the first time I've seen they can manipulate matter, they can move things,
Absolutely.
they can throw people. Yeah,
Yeah.
there's no
And
joke.
that's why I say to all. And that's what I see. Yeah, and I talk to these paranormal investigators, and I say, you guys got to be respect what you're doing. Don't go in there and try and antagonize these folks, man. They'll mess you up, dude. They'll mess you up. You
Mhm.
can't see a punch coming from somebody. You can't see a push coming. You can't see any of that. You'll feel it, but you can't. It's sucker punch. You can't see it, At least you can see the sucker, but these you can't see. But yeah, it's amazing. I mean, and respect these guys. You got to respect the spirit. They're in the blue gray world, and they're stuck there for who knows what reason. Could be fear, could be religion. It's all tied together. What could be the fact that your mom or dad told you you're going to go to hell.
Yeah.
Yeah, no. So respect them, protect yourself. You have to protect
But
yourself.
so
You have to
many of them don't even
psychologically.
want you to know they're there. They're sneaking around. They're connecting to people and sapping energy. There was this
Exactly.
one
I have.
lady that sorry, I was just going to say there's just one lady that
Go
we
ahead.
we went to do a hypnosis session on, and she basically ended up going under, and this other voice came out, and we
Yep.
said to her, like, are you okay, everything all right? And they said, well, it wasn't her, so you're just trying to get rid of me, is what the voice said. And we're like, who's this, if you don't mind me asking? And the young man said, bodies are prime real estate, she didn't want hers, so I took it. That's what he said. Bodies are prime
Oh
real
man.
estate. She didn't want hers, so I took it. And you know what's interesting? I found out that it was a 19-year-old suicide victim.
Oh man.
So he didn't want his body either, apparently. So now
Yep.
what is he doing? He's
Yep.
wandering around attaching to people.
Yep. Yep. I have found too by doing Reiki, I have removed alcoholics off of people. It's just unbelievable. I mean, once it touches my heart so much. I removed, I can't tell you how many at this point, Laura. Shoot. I removed one off of a dear friend of mine, and he stopped drinking immediately and hasn't touched it again. I removed one off of a lady, she stopped drinking immediately and hasn't touched it again. So I believe it's just this is real. I don't care what anybody says. You can talk bad about me all day long. I don't care. What I'm doing is invaluable to these spirits and these guys. Just imagine if your child was missing for 20 years, 30 years, and you finally got them to go home. What have you done? It's some incredible work. This stuff is incredible work. If you don't believe in ghosts and spirits, don't look in the mirror because you're looking at one. We're spirit. This is a temporary temple. This is just a temporary temple. That's all it is. We're spirit. We're divine. We're holy. We're divine. We're infinite beings. We have more power than you can ever imagine. We only take up, there's only about 3 to 5% of our actual spirit that occupies this physical body, because the physical body can't take the presence of the omnipresent. It can't take the full power of God. We are that. We are created in the likeness and the image of God. What does that mean? I'm looking at God right there and right there. We are. And if you think that's blasphemy, I'm sorry. But we are created in the likeness and the image of God. That makes us so. Okay? We have the ability to create. We have the ability to kill. What does that make us? Honestly. We can't just snap our fingers and create stuff, but for the most part,
in the astral, you can.
Yeah, you can. Think about it. That's right. Think about it, and there it is. And again, be careful what you think.
Exactly. Words are spells and curses. Yes. I've noticed, it's funny. I cleared somebody the other day and he had all these curses on him. And I said, "Oh, where did these curses come from?" And they said, "Oh, he cursed himself." And I was like, "You can curse yourself?" They're like, "Yeah. I mean, I've found curses on people's
never
phones.
Be rich. I'll never be happy."
And they're like, "You fucking piece of shit phone," and then they curse their phone like that. I
absolutely.
Understand, because you don't recognize that you're talking shit to your stuff and that you're cursing your own belongings, but your own self, like you could really curse yourself. They're like, "Yeah, he cursed himself. He talks bad about himself, calls himself names, and says all these nasty things about himself." Yep.
Daily. People do that daily. Yep. First thing was light. Second thing was sound. What does that mean? Watch what you say. Our words have power. Everybody's words have power. You can be on the phone and somebody says just one thing to you and your day's ruined. Or they can say another thing to you and your life is just incredible. So words are power. So I want to go back to this real quick, Laura.
Power away too. We give that power away by even allowing ourselves to be triggered by certain things, by believing what people say to us.
I do palmistry. I've been reading palms. Oh, that's some of the first things I dove into. Palmistry is it's amazing what you can learn from somebody just doing that. It's just amazing what you can learn from somebody's palm. And I tell people when I read your palm, your strength and power come through that finger right there. So when you flip people off, you're giving your power away. Literally, you're giving your power away. So don't flip people off. So your strength and power does come through and out of your middle fingers. Left is receiving, right is sending. So and I'm giving my power away to anybody. I'll say things, but I won't. I don't do that. So that's awesome. That's awesome stuff.
Wow.
Go ahead.
One person said in the comments, an ex-friend of mine always talked about her bad luck. And sure enough, she kept experiencing bad luck. She didn't want to listen to me when I telling her to stop talking about that because, you're just going to manifest it that way. If you believe it,
That's right.
Like with same with
Absolutely.
curses get way more powerful if you believe you are cursed. If somebody tells you you're cursed and you believe it, you're giving that curse power.
Okay, Taylor German here says, Randall, can you heal someone of their alcoholism remotely? Yes, you can. If you can remove an attachment remotely, you can take care of their alcoholism or whatever else is going on with them. Yes, remove the attachment from them, and alcoholism will usually go away. Usually.
Sometimes it depends because it could be past life related too. A lot of people are dragging this past life trauma with them. And it's very rare that you find somebody with one lifetime worth of alcoholism, you know?
Right.
Usually
Exactly.
it's stemming multiple lifetimes of this issue.
And that's where curse unraveling comes into play too. Because when I do remotes on people, if they want an attachment removal, I'll go in and kind of trace their line a little bit and see what's going on. And if they have, you know, a series of alcoholic issues, then they've got an attachment from hundreds of years ago, possibly, or even thousands of years ago from different lifetimes. So yeah, I mean, it can get complicated. It's easy to do this work, but it can get complicated real quick.
Plus, you also get lower level stuff. Like curses could be anything from, it's almost like reverse Reiki, where somebody is sending you negative intention rather than love and healing, right? But then it can get up a level where if people really start stewing about it and sending that negative intention every day, it ends up getting stronger and stronger into an actual curse. But then you have professional curses too.
Oh, yeah.
Where they use like actual magic to come after you. And those are even more difficult. I actually, you know, it's funny, we were talking about our exes. I checked my ex-husband, my first marriage, like a few months ago, because I was curious what was going on with him. And I found a curse to suffer that had been attached to him since Egypt. And it was a professional curse. The Egyptians did not fuck around when it came to curses. And so this professional curse was still very, very strong, even to this day. And when I said, what do you mean by a curse to suffer? The soul guides told me every time something brings him joy, it will be taken from him. That is the curse.
Well, he needs to do a timeline trace.
Anytime you find joy and the universe robs you of that joy.
You know, ironically, I do know people like that. I do. So yeah, you need to do a curse unraveling, a timeline trace, and figure out what's going on and get rid of it.
Oh, I cleared all that for him now. My guides are good at that. But still, yeah. Good. But you don't realize that there's so many tens of thousands of people that are carrying these burdens from a past life that have no idea what's happening.
I know. It's amazing. And they won't buy into what we're trying to sell here either. And not that we're trying to sell it. I mean, this is facts as to what we're doing, but they don't believe it. And I'm sorry for them for not believing this, you know. You know, we receive messages through this. Okay. Mm-hmm. It's transmitted via the air. Why can't we receive messages from spirit and send messages through spirit the same way? We can. We did it long before this came into play. So there's no separation. People call me from all over the world too, Laura. And they go, well, can you do it? Can you do it remotely? I said, once I hear your voice and I'm tuned into you, there's no separation between me and you. I can tune into you, and it amazes me. Yeah. I'm thankful for what happened to me. You know, being 6 years old with carbon monoxide poisoning, I'm thankful for that. Now I am. When I was a kid, I cursed it because there's just so many weird stuff was happening to me. But for the most part, there's no separation. Once I tune into you, I can read you pretty good and whatever. But there are things that pop up and kind of block certain things from being able to be read. But for the most part, yeah, once you're tuned in, you can tune into anybody across the planet. You know, I have these electrical devices. One is called Spooky 2. It's a Tesla device, it's Spooky 2. And it's called Spooky 2 for a reason. Is when they coined this, they said, man, this is spooky how this thing works. I mean, you put your finger all in this and you can touch somebody from across the planet. Wow, that's spooky. But the same thing applies to us, you know, being a psychopomp or somebody who does SRT or same thing. But, you know, it's spooky, but it's effective and it works. You know, a well can talk to another well on the other side of the planet via the waves in the ocean. You know, so There's no separation, guys. There's no separation. Once you tune in, you're tuned in.
I got to be careful reading people's names. Just reading their name.
Yeah.
I don't even have to hear your voice lately. That's how dialed up my abilities have been getting through this work that we've been doing. Just reading a name, I can tell whether or not your guides are authentic or if you got an imposter. Because I'll read somebody's name. Like I'll see my name, like a client's name on my list, and I'll read the name and instantly I'll get chills. And I'm like, oh, they're not sovereign. They got an imposter. And then I'll sit down with the guides and they'll be like, yep, imposter removed. And I'm like, yep, knew it. Thank you. Because it carries a vibration, and the things that are attached to you
carries
also carry that vibration.
Absolutely. Thank you, Elga. I appreciate that. Yeah, I've been called a wizard many times. I've been called a dumbass too, but we won't go there.
Right? Doing dumb shit and doing this work. There's a couple times where I've done dumb shit. I tuned into somebody in Israel, and the psychic attacks that I got after that. Holy crap!
Yeah, I did one. Yeah, I didn't. When I do psychopomp work, or if I do attachment removals off of somebody, I don't want anybody else around. When I do a home, I don't want anybody else around because those spirits will attach to them and leave. And then when I leave, they come back. So I don't want anybody on or around me other than the sitter or the home or the business that I'm working on. I had done a gentleman a year ago, and I slipped up and didn't put my proper protection around me, and he got me. And it took me a couple months to get rid of what was going on with me. And then I took a sabbatical last year. I didn't do but 1 or 2 healings and sessions last year. So I just had to back off, regroup, and reconnect with all my guides and make sure my power is where it's supposed to be able to do this work effectively. When somebody hires you to go in and do this, you have to be 100%. You can't be 50. You can't be 70. You can't be 90. You got to be 100% because of the fact you're putting yourself in jeopardy by diving into the spirit world. And you're not commanding, but you're asking and helping them to cross over. Most of the time, when you approach things from compassion and empathy, now you open the doors for good to happen. But when you approach things for fame and money and prestige and things like that, you're going to fall, and you're going to fall hard. This is about love, and this is about compassion, because we're here to help people. We're not here to make a name for ourselves, but by by helping people, you're making a name for yourself. But I'm not doing this to make a name for myself. I'm doing this because I know I see people that are trapped and stuck, and they reach out to me all the time. Why would I close that door? Honestly, why would you close that door? Why would you not want to do anything but help? I mean, I don't get it. And, like I said, the paranormal people, the chasers and the ghost chasers and all this, they're all about it for the name and the fame and this and that. And I know some of them are watching, and it's no disrespect to you guys. I love you all. And you know that. I've talked to all of you all the time. Be respectful. And when you get into a situation where you can't help somebody, please call us. Please call us. This is what we do. We like to help. I love to help people. I love to help people cross over. There's no better joy other than my daughter being born and her saying, I love you, Dad. There's no greater joy in my life to me than helping somebody cross over. I used to think and strive that music is my life. Music, and it was, and it still is. But it's not predominant like helping people cross over.
Absolutely. It's funny, Randall. I could have gone anywhere in the world for my 40th birthday, and I chose to go to Edinburgh to de-haunt ghost tours. That was the whole reason I
didn't put my shirt on. I got it.
I
was going to wear my Edinburgh t-shirt for you.
But that was why I went. It pissed me off seeing people profit off of it, And people are like, well, what about their livelihood? What about their job? People are scared of their own shadow anyway. They're not going to notice the difference. It's still going to be spooky even without the spirits being stuck down there. Release them. Let them go. They're not you're not there to make money, off of you, There was this one little drummer boy that was in Edinburgh Castle, right? And everybody was making a big deal about the little drummer boy. They could hear him drumming every once in a while. and a medium came in and released him. He was able to cross. And everybody, you know, there was like, what the hell? We won't hear the little boy anymore. Like they were pissed off that the little boy wasn't in the castle anymore. And it's like, what is wrong with you? It's a little kid. Let him go with his family. Like, what the fuck? It made me so mad that people could have that attitude. Like, they're not a commodity.
They're not.
So,
they're not.
So no, I 100% agree completely, and I'm just very grateful that you're saying that, because no, I've had a few arguments with people that have done this before, where they're just like, "How dare you clear my space?" You know, and I'm like, if I find out you're going in there to do something, and you're gonna bring people in there, you know, to scare them, and what's more, some of these ghost hunts, right? Guess what they do?
Yep.
They give you shots of whiskey before you go down there. Can you imagine giving people 2 shots of whiskey and then sending them down to, you know, like the creepy vaults underneath Edinburgh where thousands of people died of plague?
Ironically, they're taking care of the haunting problem themselves, because, you know, the attachment's going to attach to this person who's had the whiskey. And now the place won't be haunted anymore.
Well, I said to my guys, I said, how come there's so few? Like, there's this one place up in the Palisades where they used to burn witches. And I said, there's only 30 people there. And I said, where did they all go? And they said, they hitchhiked out on all the tourists. They attached to the tourists and left. They're off traveling the world. You see all these witch burn victims that are just basically out, you know, going to different areas around the world. You don't realize what you go home with as a souvenir.
Absolutely. Yeah, I've done several, more than several, but I'll just use several haunted locations that were attractions. And they would say, don't cross everybody over. Come on, man. Seriously. I mean, seriously, you know, you hire me to go into a building and cross people over, I'm crossing people over. I'm crossing everybody over. So, you know,
thank you, Randall. I really am grateful that there's people like you that are actually have that level of compassion, because there's so many people that just want to go home, you know, and they
all want to go home.
Yeah.
Now I'm gonna back up a little bit. Not all of them want to go home. Not all of them want to go home. There are some who enjoy.
I was going to say the ones that are haunting the bars, that are going into women's locker rooms. See how many creepy old men we find in areas they do not belong? Yeah. And I'm like, oh, get the hell out of there. Like, you do not belong in there, and you know better.
All of them. That's how many you find in there. All of them. Yes.
It was funny.
So
I
don't do bars anymore. I haven't done that.
There's this one guy that manages a strip club, and when I told him what I do for a living, he's like, "Oh, can you clear my strip club?" And I was like, "Yeah, sure, why not?" So I go in, and there were like 100 earthbounds in there, and I was like, "Oh, are they stuck?" And the guides are like, "No, they are not stuck. They are very much enjoying themselves, and they do not want to leave." And I was like, "Sorry, guys, Fun Police is here. It's time to go." Like, nope, you're crossing. Get out. Go on.
Okay. Yeah, I think that's a good story, and it's going to bring up a point that I'm going to make here. A lot of people think that just because you die, you're not who you are. Now you're a spirit. You know what? We're a spirit occupying this body. And when we die, the spirit stays the same. I'm still Randall Smith. And when I leave this body, I'll still be the spirit of Randall Smith in this incarnation, but I will come back as somebody else. If my reincarnation cycle is to continue, I'll come back again as somebody else, but still be the presence of the entity known as Randall Smith. And I'll always be that. You will never die. There is no such thing as death. That's why there's so many hauntings, because we don't die. The physical body will die. It will die many, 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 many times. But the spiritual body will never die. Now, unless you do things like what maybe Hitler did, or more up to date, Dr. Fauci, you know, people like that, they will be what do they call that? Not reconstructed, but they will be regenerated. They will their spirit will be renewed so that they don't carry that that deception or the malice that they were with them into the next lifetime. Especially if you've done horrendous things. Just horrendous things.
Well, some of them, for example, like I said about the Pope the other day. The Pope was I asked my guide, says, "Oh, he died. Was this supposed to be? Oh, the original soul left a long time ago." And I was like, "Really?" And they said, "Yeah. Sometimes you get living vessels for entities. That sometimes the original soul leaves, and then another soul stays, and that's different."
Yep, that's different, altogether different. And when they've had enough, and they'll leave. So for the most part, yeah, that's a rarity to happen. It's a rarity, but it does happen. But again, our personality is our personality, and we go from lifetime to lifetime developing the personality to become bigger and better as a person. So that never dies. You'll never die. You never die. Literally, you never die. When I was in the light talking to these beings, I wasn't physical. I was a vibrating spiritual being talking with these other shimmering, vibrating beings too. But I look down and there's nothing there. You know, I look over, I'm doing this and there's nothing there. I get to presence when I put my hand in that well. I felt the spiritual physical of my hands in that well. But for the most part, you're spirit. So don't disrespect spirit when you go into a haunted place. Respect everybody. Come from love and compassion, and you'll be amazed at how well the sessions go and how well your work does just by approaching it with compassion. You know, I'm a wounded healer. Laura, you're a wounded healer, and that's what we do. We approach things from compassion, and that's how the healing takes place.
All that character development we've been through, Randall, it was all for a reason.
Okay, I would like to address Elga right here. Randall, what's your advice about letting go fear when it comes to doing this work? Okay, how do you get rid of fear? You know, we all have guides. We all have guides. Everybody knows we have guides. If you don't trust your guides, there's fear. If you don't trust your guides, that creates fear. Trust your guides. Trust yourself. You know, I use Archangel Michael, Archangel Raphael, Archangel Uriel, Metatron, Hermes, Isaiah, all of them. I use them all. And for me not to trust any of them, that creates fear. When you put trust into something, fear goes away. If I get hurt, I get hurt. I did something wrong. Myself, I did something wrong. It's why I got hurt the last time. I didn't fear that. If I'd have done what I was supposed to do, I wouldn't have got hurt. I don't fear it. I'll go into another place. I got one to do later today. I don't fear. You can't fear. If you trust your guides, fear is impossible. Literally, fear is impossible. Just walk into a situation like, you know, Rambo, first blood. You drew first blood. You know, so you got to approach things like that. Don't fear. You can't live in fear. Fear is false evidence appearing real. False evidence appearing real. Fear. So let go of that. Trust your guides. If you trust your guides, you won't have fear. Just approach it like that.
I love that.
Pretty simple.
And yeah, it's funny that you and I are bringing in the same kind of crew when we're doing our clearings. Yeah, we also work with Archangel Michael and a few others. And Hermes came into our clearing the other day, which is really funny. So that's why I was Hermes. Yeah, we've been having all kinds of different deities coming forward to help us right now. So it's almost like this work is probably one of the most important things we could be doing on this planet right now, raising the frequency with every clearing we do.
It absolutely is. Absolutely is. You know, the veil is thinning, and it is getting so thin that people now are seeing apparitions everywhere. So with it being thin like this, it's very important that when you do see a spirit walking around or whatever, try to address them. Oh, I wanted to say this too. I'll get back to this in a second. For me, to help people cross over, I have to be able to communicate with you. if you talk back to me, I can talk back to you. Now that we've got the communication going, now we can chat and I can bring in your family, your friends, your loved ones, whomever needs to come over to help you cross over. Because once the communication is established, it makes the job of crossing somebody over easier. Okay. Basically, I'm a hollow bone. I'm a hollow bone. The energy comes through me. It comes through me. I'm a hollow bone medium. So with that in mind, I'm just holding space. All you're doing is holding space for the entities to communicate with their family and friends and the God force. And when this is going on, then that's when the magic happens. Let it happen. Don't try to control. Don't try to control everything that's going on within a session, or if you go into a place. Say your prayers, bring in the proper entities, and hold space and watch the magic happen, because they're doing the work. Literally, they're doing the work. All we're doing, Laura and I, is holding space for the work to happen.
Yep.
Pretty simple.
One person said earlier, how come we don't just remove all the curses from everyone in the whole world? Yes.
Some people like their curses. Some people like the curses.
Some people find identity in the victimhood of these things. Yes.
That's exactly right. That's exactly right. And if you have several entities on you, they don't want you to succeed anyways. They're going to bring curses to you. They're bringing their garbage to the garbage truck. If you have an entity on you, now you're the garbage truck. So when you pick up a lot of other entities, now you got a lot of garbage in your garbage truck. You got to dump that thing once in a while.
Yeah. Well, I've noticed there's some people that like their attachments too. There are people that feel that they are powerless and that their entities give them power. And so I'll clear them, and then 5 minutes later, they're calling new ones.
Yeah.
It's usually a partner of somebody, it's not the person who's booking it for themselves. It's a partner or a loved one that's like, hey, he really needs this. And then I'll clear him, and they'll be like, he's not going to stay sovereign. He actually likes the attachments. It's like some people build like a symbiotic relationship with them.
Absolutely. I stopped doing situations like that because I got better things to do with my time. If you want to wallow in your own misfortune, go ahead and wallow in it. But if the person doesn't ask me directly for help, I typically won't help anybody else. If a spouse comes to me and says, my husband absolutely has to have this happen. Well, your husband needs to talk to me about it, not you. Because if your husband don't want it to happen, he's only doing it because of you. I'm wasting my time. I'm wasting my time and his time or her time, whomever. So unless they ask me, I don't do it. Now I will go to different horror scenes like a battleground and things like that and do clearings. I mean, they didn't ask, but they don't want to be there. They really don't want to be there. So I'll go ahead and take the initiative and go take care of those situations.
Yeah.
Randall is now master. You're funny, Daniel. Hey, I got to say this to everybody who's making comments like, yeah, man, be your own guru. Be your own guru. Search and discover things for you. I appreciate the comment, Daniel. That's great, man. I love it. But be your own guru, man. Research and dive into this thing. Don't just tiptoe around in it. Dive into it head first. There's a billion books to read about this, but I would definitely go with Dr. Ida Fiore, William Baldwin. There's a good. Okay, I'm gonna get off that for a second. Those on here who are searching for more meaning to life, there's a series of books out by doggone it, I forgot his name. I'll get back to that in a minute if I can remember his name. There's a few books. Never mind. I'll send you a text and you can post it the next time.
I love
it. He talks about. Yeah, he's a hypnotherapist. Oh yeah, he's a hypnotherapist, and he discovered things between the states of not consciousness, but between states of incarnation and picking a life and this and that. You choose different scenarios of lifetimes and lifetimes and lifetimes, and we belong to soul groups and things of that sort. So
You're talking about
I can't
Michael
remember his
Newton.
name. Dog. Yes, Dr. Michael Newton. Yes,
Michael
read
Newton's
his
books are
books, guys.
phenomenal, aren't they? Yes.
Oh my God. Oh my God. It will bring so much clarity to everything, literally everything. Dr. Michael Newton is a rock star. I
Yeah, he
just
is.
love his stuff. I've read his books and I recommend them to everybody. So, yeah.
It's funny
So,
though,
yeah,
because it's
fun
almost
stuff.
like every book I read, there's still puzzle pieces missing. You know, there's still
Yes.
like it's
Yes.
just too big to fit it all into even a series of books.
Well, you can't. I mean, there's just so much. I mean, it's like everything that I know, I really don't know anything. Honestly. I mean, it's the same way with all of us. But yeah,
Because you
Dr.
learn
Michael
more
Newton books are
constantly
good.
all the time. There's more you end up
All the
discovering.
time. All the time, all the time. And you can't be a know-it-all in this business because, there's no way possible you can be a know-it-all. I mean, why would you want to do that
Universe will check
anyways?
you if you say that. The universe is like, oh, hold my beer. Hang on a second. Let me just prove you wrong real quick.
Yeah, yeah, yeah. Hold this case of beer here. Let me show you something. Yeah. Yeah, it's fun. I love this work though. I love this work. Of all the things that I do, like I said, I love this work. I just love it. And it's
Wow.
never ending. It's never ending. I'm just surprised and I'm amazed at how many spirits are still on this planet just without a body. And we have what, 7 billion, 8 billion people on this planet right now this time, but how many have crossed before and how many have lived before it that are not crossing over? So to think that you're getting everybody in this fell swoop, you're not even getting a third or 16th of them. So yeah, just keep doing it. I mean, we need it. The everything is changing, dimensions is changing. We're going into a new earth and a new world. You don't believe that? I'm sorry, but it's happening. It's happening. You can just look around. Look at the Schumann. What's going on with the Schumann resonance? It's absolutely exploding and has been exploding for years now. And it's getting
And
higher and higher and higher and
all
higher.
the light codes coming in. I mean, yeah, you can feel it with the
Well,
light
yeah.
codes.
Now, who used to remember the sun being yellow? The sun is white. The sun is white. When white is burning hotter than yellow. So it's burning hotter. Things are changing. Absolutely, things are changing. Things are changing.
So your spirit team, do they talk about the shift at all? Do they see that things are changing very rapidly as well?
They just say, hang on, stay in prayer, hang on, stay in prayer, stay vigilant.
What's what one of them told me?
Hang
They
on.
said, hold on to the seat of your pants is what one of them told me.
Fasten your seatbelts and tighten them up.
Yeah, exactly. So it does make you wonder, the thinner the veil gets, do you think people are going to start being more spiritually in tune, or do you think they're just going to start freaking out more? Because that's my big question. A little bit of both, perhaps?
I think it's it's going to be a little bit of both. I can't say 50-50 because there are more people who disbelieve than people who believe at this point, which is very unfortunate. But things are changing. If you don't believe, I believe that things are going to happen that's going to go, oh my God, what is that type of thing? So yeah, you're going to get a serious slap in the face with reality here pretty quick. And don't freak out when you see an alien ship come down in.
I was gonna say one of my favorite people to connect with is actually is a Pleiadian, and one of the things they said was, "Do you think humans are ready for 5D?" And they said, "Do you think little old ladies are ready to see succubi on their way to church?"
Yeah.
I mean, that's a good point. Like there's a lot of us that are like, oh, I'm ready for 5D. And it's like, oh, yeah, well, you just be aware of what you're going to be able to see in 5D because it's going to be a lot more interesting. There's going to be a lot more animals and creatures and beings and earthbounds and all kinds of stuff going on.
Yeah. Hey, Aaron McCarthy. Yeah, I have been reading that about them wanting to block out the sun. I've got a theory about that. They've been wanting to do this now for the last 10 or 12 years. They don't want you to see what's behind and around the sun. Is what they want to block it
No,
up.
they don't.
They don't want to. They don't want you to see what's going on up there. Because if you saw what was going up there, a lot of people would freak out. A lot of people freak out. There's a planet up there that is absolutely enormous. There's a planet on the other side of the moon that's absolutely enormous. And there have been pictures taken of it for about 10, 15 years now. But there's another planet within our system which is causing all of this to happen. Our entire system is the vibrations of our entire system has amped up quite a bit. So it's not just Earth and the sun that are affected. It's our whole system. And that's because we have another planetary body coming into our system. So that's why they want to block out the sun. Global warming is a farce. It's fake. There's nothing. I mean, seriously, it's all cyclical. Everything is cyclical. We go through this every 25, 26,000 years. So they just don't want you to see. They want you to see what's out there. Yeah, and the sun does activate our DNA. Absolutely. We have front row. Absolutely. Get some more popcorn.
I love it. I would really love to do some clearing work with you, Randall. Maybe we could start clearing some battlefields together, because this is my biggest passion right now. I mean, I love doing individual clearings. Don't get me wrong. I do absolutely love working on individual clients and helping them clear things. But, you know, when we cleared 3,000 earthbounds in one battlefield, do you know how many individuals I would have had to clear to find 3,000 earthbounds?
Oh, man. Oh, man. Oh, man. You ain't kidding. You have time for another quick story?
1,500 people, give or take. You know, on average, you get like 1 to 3 earthbounds per person, depending on what they're going through. So, I would have cleared probably about 1,000 people to cross over 3,000 earthbounds. But we did that in 20 minutes, clearing Culloden.
That's awesome. I mean, that's awesome. You got time for another quick story?
Absolutely.
We got time for another quick story?
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. We got plenty of time.
Okay. All right. So I was called from a place in southern Indiana. I can't give it the exact location. But anyways, so she says, we just built a new house and we're having problems with one wall in our home. It keeps breaking from one corner to the other corner. Brand new home. It's an older couple, and they purchased a mountain. I'm from Chattanooga, Tennessee. So when I say mountain, I'm talking mountain. They said they bought a little mountain in southern Indiana. There's not a mountain in southern Indiana. It's a big hill. So anyways, they got this new home halfway down this hill because they're too old to want to drive up this hill. So they send me a bunch of pictures, and there's orbs all over this picture. And I mean, you know, I've been doing this a long time. I know the difference between an orb and a dust particle and all that other good happy crap. So it's like, oh, Lord. Okay, so we make arrangements. I go down to southern Indiana, and I tell them, I don't want you here. You know, just give me free reign of the property, and you can check me, but when you get back, make sure I ain't stealing anything if you need to do that. So they go ahead and go into town. And I'm on the property. The house is done. It's just not furnished. So it's a real nice place, and it overlooks a gully, and the gully is 100 yards wide. So it's a big property, you know, on the side of a mountain. It's a big property. Now they got like 100 acres, so it's a big property. So I got my rattle. I'm rattling to change my consciousness. Rattling to a monotonous 4 or 6 to 8 beats per second will alter your consciousness to the point where you can travel. You can travel dimensionally in your head. So I'm rattling, and I'm just rattling, and I feel a presence next to me. So I open my eyes, and I got this young man sitting next to me. I'm sitting on the floor with my rattle. I got this young man sitting next to me, and he's wearing, it looks like a Confederate shirt, but he also has the opposing pants on. It's like, looked like he stole some clothes from somebody. So, and he's talking to me. We talk. I ask him his name and this and that, and he tells me. So we're talking for a second, and he goes, "We had a skirmish here." And when he said that, it appeared to me, the view appeared to me. So there were There were bodies laying all over the gully on both sides, all the way around. You know, you have 4 or 5 here, 5 or 6 here, a dozen or so here, a couple here. Back in the distance, you can see just a bunch of them. And I'm going, oh, Lord, you know. So we talked for a bit, and I'm rattling. I get the light to open. Then boom, boom, all these spirits are disappearing, you know, and he's the last one to go. And he tries to give me a hug. You know, he's spirit. So I feel an embrace. And, you know, I got tears coming down my face because so many people are passing. So we chat for just a little bit, and he thanks me. He just profusely, profoundly thanks me. So, you know, I tear up, and we call it a day. You know, so I rattled around the property to close everything, to make sure, you know, everybody's gone and nobody can come in and this and that. So I sit for about a half an hour and say to myself, oh my God, did this really happen? Did this really happen? It was so visual in my head that I was there. I was like at that spot with them. They had a skirmish. It was farmers against soldiers, and it was massive. It was just crazy. So the owners get there, and I talked to him about what happened, you know, and what occurred, and whom I talked to, and this and that. And their eyes are big, you know, and I'm talking to them. They go, let's take a little ride. You know, at that point, I've been there 3 hours. I'm hungry. I'm thinking they're going to take me to go get something to eat. So we go down their hill, and we go around to the side of the big hill, and on the back side of that it's not a Civil War, but it is that time period cemetery right there. And there were 750 to 800 people that crossed over that particular day. And in that graveyard was 900 people.
Wow.
So it was like, oh my God. So, I mean, how many more validations does a person really need to know that what you're doing is working? You know,
so
that
were they
was just, I just could
together?
not
Like
believe.
Union and Confederates were buried together?
They buried, everybody
Do
was
they
buried at
even
the same
like
place.
that? Does that end up pissing them off when they get buried together like that?
They didn't care. They just wanted to go home. They didn't care.
Wow.
Yeah. I didn't get any vibe of being disappointed about what was going on there, anything like that. All I got was, I want to go home. I want to go home. So I helped him cross over. And you know, that was one of the greater days of doing this work. But that was, you know, that was a long time ago. And I've done lots and lots and lots more since then. But that one in itself concreted into me that this is what I need to be doing, and doing it all the time, because there's just so much of this going on, you know, mass catastrophes just all the time, everywhere. So that was just another quick story for you.
I love it. My biggest passion right now is my two biggest passions, I should say, for clearing earthbounds is helping the Aboriginal schools, the children that were stuck in these Indian boarding schools. We've cleared 2 of them so far, maybe even 3 by now. And every time we check, we find hundreds of children there that are not crossed over, and they're all huddled together wearing their little uniforms, and it's honestly heartbreaking to see them still stuck there hundreds of years later.
Hey, Laura, let's get together and let's dive into these tunnels where these kids are. Can we?
Yes, I would love that.
I think we're going to need some help in this one. Yeah, we're going to need some help.
I got a big team, and I think you do too, Randall. Let's do it. Let's combine forces.
We got a team. I think we got Super Bowl teams going on here. I'm all for it, man. I'm all for it. I'm ready to go.
My team is a lot of galactics, mostly galactics. I have a lot of Pleiadians. Like I have 100 Pleiadians I could call in if I need to.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So it's very exciting, awesome. And I love the fact that we have so much support on the other side, because the more support we have, the better. And my guides told me the other day, because there was this one job they said, oh, it's going to be a big job. And I got a little nervous at first, especially because a couple of my colleagues were like, no, I don't want to do it. It's too risky. You know, it was a witch's prison that we were going to clear. But I was like, no, I feel really good about it. I feel like we're supposed to do it. So I asked my guides, like, is this riskier than normal? And they're like, no, it's just a really big job. And I said, well, what do you mean by that? And they said, well, if you have a really massive building that's really filthy, you don't just hire one cleaning lady for the building, do you? You hire a team. It makes it easier on the
you
team
betcha.
to clear it. It doesn't take as much time. And that is why the bigger the team, the easier it is for the job. And I was like, okay, that I resonate with. Thank you. That gives me, that makes me feel better, you know?
Well, I find too, in with the team, they know where my heart is. They know where your heart is, and they want to help. And if you're doing work and you're giving thanks to them, I thank my guides daily, multiple times daily, because they're always there. And when you absolutely, thank you. And when you're in an attitude of gratitude and love and compassion, they want to help. They will come to you. New guides will come to you all the time. If you're doing the good work and you're coming from compassion in your heart, they're there and they want to help. That's what they're there for. They want to help. We're heroes for being here. We're heroes for being here to begin with. There are angels. I don't believe in winged angels, but there are angels who have not come to this planet. It's too hard. I ain't going there. Are you kidding me?
Low vibration. Once we get the vibration up, they can actually come in easier. Yeah.
Yes. So we're heroes for coming here to begin with. So put that not into your ego bank, but put that into your mind bank, that we're heroes for coming here to begin with. So if you're considered a hero for coming here, live up to it. Do something about that. Do something with that. I carry a staff. Hey, I'm not me without my guides. If it wasn't for the guides, I wouldn't be doing what I do. And again, I don't care what people think or what people say about me. It doesn't matter anymore. I know that what I'm doing is from my heart. And I know that the gods love what we're doing. We're helping souls to go home. And that's what we're here for, is to help souls to go home. And again, if you don't believe that, I'm sorry for you. I'm sorry.
You're missing out. For those who don't believe it, you're missing out. But you'll see. That's all I say.
Yep.
You'll see.
Yeah. I get asked more than not. Do you believe in God? Randall, do you believe in God? No, I don't believe in God. I know God.
I like
when
that.
you know something, belief is out of the picture. I know God. I look in the mirror. I see what God has created and brought to this planet. I know God. I don't believe in God. I know God.
See, now you guys understand why I've been so excited to introduce you to Randall. I've been waiting. I've been so excited about this for a really long time, because I've known for a very long time, I should say, how amazing Randall is. And we're just so grateful that you're doing this work, Randall. And thank you for lighting a fire under my ass.
Thank you, Laura. I really appreciate the invite.
Because really, it's just you waken one person, and then that person wakes up 100 more, and that other 100 wakes up 1,000, and it creates like this chain reaction. And you have certainly done that.
All it takes is a pebble. All it takes is a pebble.
I love it. Well, thank you so much for today. We'll have, if you don't mind, Randall, I would love to bring you back on and continue the conversation sometime. And we could talk about collaborating and doing some clearings together. Gettysburg is right down the road, and it's a big job, hey. I mean, there's 25,000 soldiers fell in that war. That's a big one.
It's a big.
I've been kind of working my way up to it,
We'll have to go. We'll have to go to where the actual skirmish was, and not where they're buried, because they're not where they're buried. They're where the skirmish was. So we'll have to go to the scenes of the accident, or not accident, scenes of the trauma. Let's put it that way.
Well, I've got a guest room. You're more than welcome to stay here, Randall, and then we can go on an adventure, because it's only 20 minutes from here.
That worked. Wow, you're close.
I'm close.
Thank you.
You know what's interesting? You know what's funny is I died in that battle. I had a past life where I died as a Union soldier, and that was the battle I fell in. And I was like, because I asked my guardians about it and why I felt so connected, and they're like, "Oh yeah, you were there. You died there."
Yeah. I don't know if I was in Gettysburg, but I know I died in a few of those skirmishes myself. I've got scars to. Birthmarks that prove that, you know, this wasn't your first time around.
Makes you wonder if you're kind of healing your own soul fragments when you go and release things like that in those places. You know, if you're drawn to certain areas. I felt that
Well, I
very
know
much
you
when
are.
I was in Scotland, you know, that I was releasing things and doing my own form of healing there, even though I was healing others instead. So it's like you heal a part of yourself when
Well,
you're
when you
healing the
hit,
collective.
absolutely, you're absolutely 100% right. When you're healing others, you're healing yourself. So again, that's why I love what we do. You know, I need all the healing I can get too, and I know you do too, and everybody else does too. And we're not complete. You know, we're not complete. We're only partial here. So yes, I love this. Thank you so much for inviting me.
That's an absolute pleasure. I'm just going to drop in Randall's email. It's the Randall Smith 800@gmail.com. Randall needs a website. Maybe we should get him a website. You hooked up, Randall.
I've been, you know, we talked about that a couple years ago, and I've been so busy. I'm in the process of creating a healing center in Indiana right now. So that's basically where my concentration and efforts have been. Of course, I do upholstery. I do custom and classic car interiors for a living, and I do, you know, I retired from music professionally, got tired of all the crap, so I got out of that, and I'm doing that. And of course, the psychic stuff, the mediumship, the psychopomp, I've been doing that since I was 6, and I'll continue to do that even when I die. I'm going to continue to do that. So that's where my passion and that's where my soul resides, in being able to help people cross over. And that's really where my heart is. And I'd love to do this work, and absolutely want to hook up with you and do something.
Oh, you can't! I can't wait. I'm so excited
Yeah.
already. Thank you, Randall.
Okay, very good. I'm
I can't wait for
excited
you to meet my
you're
team.
more than
They're
welcome.
gonna love you. My team's gonna really think you're great. I can tell.
Very good. Awesome. Thank you.
Thank you, everybody, for joining us today. We're so grateful. If you would like to speak with Randall, that is his Gmail. You can also find him just searching Randall Smith on Facebook. I'm sure you'll get a bunch of friend requests today, Randall. We have a wonderful community. You'll
That's fine.
see.
I'm okay with it.
So lovely.
Yes. Yeah, you guys hit me up on Facebook too. You know, there's a picture of myself and my daughter. And you know, people say you should put a professional picture. No. My heart is with my daughter. My daughter's with my heart. So she's part of my life, and you know, she's in my pictures. So, you know, it is what it is.
Oh, that's beautiful, Randall. Thank you, everybody. And thank you so much, Randall. This was a really fun chat. We'll have to have you back on in a few weeks if you're up for it. Because, yeah, we'll continue this conversation. I love more stories. Anytime.
Okay. Love you. Thank you very much. Love you bunches.
Love you too, bud. And I love all of you. Hope you have a magical day, everybody. I will see you tomorrow with Michael Zinn. Have a good one. Bye, everyone.
Okay.
See you soon.
Bye, guys. Thank you. Appreciate it. Thank you for the comments.